Hello, everyone. Welcome to the All Things Good podcast. Once again, I am your host, Giovanna Sugrillo, and I'm excited to tap into today's topic. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the All Things Good podcast. I am your host, Giovanna Sugrillo, and I'm excited to be with you today. So last week, or last podcast, lost. Did you hear my accent? The last podcast, we spoke about self-awareness. And the title to that was Self-Awareness, A Step Towards Identity. And the reason why I mentioned that is because a lot of us are not aware. And if you did not listen to the podcast, please listen to the podcast, because if we are not self-aware of our actions, our emotions, or anything that we do, then we don't know who we are. And so a lot of us are discovering our identity once again, our identity in God, our identity and our purpose, what we're called to do, what we love to do, and just finding ourselves again. We've lost ourselves. A lot of us have lost ourselves. I mean, I speak to people continuously, and we're all on the same page, just coming to a new place of identity, coming into that new creation, coming in to the place where we've always desired and wanted to be, and getting past those hurdles, right? And so a lot of the time we have to take accountability for our actions. And in order for us to take accountability for our actions, we need to be self-aware. So if you did not listen to that podcast, it is a good podcast. So much information that I provided on how to become more self-aware. And the ultimate goal is to find yourself and become emotionally intelligent. That's right. Emotionally intelligence is important. It's important for whatever field you are in. You know, I wasn't raised in the church, but I did serve in ministry for about 10 years. And one thing I did notice is that the church does not teach emotional intelligence. And, you know, I went through so much transformation, so much healing, but I never became emotionally intelligent. I never became self-aware in my emotions. I was never taught this, and I started to teach myself this within the past year. And it's helped me in my life tremendously, especially when it comes to relationships and knowing myself, knowing who I am. So wherever field you are in, whether you are looking to be in leadership in a church, and mind you, this podcast is not a biblical sermon. You're not going to get scriptures out of my podcast, but I might have some Christian followers. I might have some followers who are not Christian. I want to be able to address every person in my podcast. Wherever you are, whether you are looking to be in church leadership, whether you are a leader in your household, because we all are, whether you are in a job, in a high position in your job, wherever you are, you're a leader. It doesn't matter what position you hold, whether it's big or small, you're a leader in wherever you are. And in order for you to be successful in your point of leadership, you must be emotionally intelligent. People do not need to receive your negativity. People do not need to receive your nastiness, your ugliness, because you can't regulate your own emotions. And you want to project that on everybody else. So today we're going to be talking about emotional intelligence. And I think this is especially important for parenting. You know, a lot of the times we believe that just because we're the adult in the situation, we're the mother, we're the dad, that we have the right to speak to our children the way that we speak to them, or because I said so. Or we have the right to, treat them the way that we treat them, and then not feel the need to apologize because we're the adult. And how dare I, put aside my pride to say sorry to my child for mistreating them the way that it did, or maybe speaking out, calling them a name that maybe they should not have been called. We really need to get it together. And emotional intelligence, when you begin to practice this, when you begin to regulate your emotions, you will be able to become a better parent, a better leader, a better adult, a better human being. Like, you won't be nasty. There's a lot of nasty people out here. I mean, it's crazy. Whether you're seeing it on social media, whether you're seeing it in person, people are just become so nasty. And I want to help you regulate your emotions when those nasty people come around, when those naysayers and those Debbie Downers and the people who are always criticizing and the people who always have something to say are around, I want to help you regulate your emotions, because we shouldn't allow people to trigger us. We shouldn't allow people to take us out of that comfort zone. Oh my gosh, I'm rambling right now, but I can remember a time in my life where others, particular people, will change my attitude. They will change my whole disposition. They will change everything, because they will come in and I could be having a good day, but if they come in with that attitude, then all of a sudden I have an attitude. All of a sudden my attitude is shifted. The whole household is shifted. Things are just different. And I noticed that. And I realized that people should not have that authority over my life. It doesn't matter who you are. You could be my husband. You could be my best friend. You can be my child. No one should have the ability to change and shift my attitude and my atmosphere. I should be able to stand on my ground, but despite of what you're going through, because what you're going through is not necessarily my fault. And therefore my attitude shouldn't, I should have empathy and, sympathize with your situation, but I definitely should not have an attitude because you have an attitude. And I definitely should not cower down because you stepped in the room. And so we have to learn how to be emotionally intelligent. We have to learn to discern whose emotions are what. Is that their emotion? Am I picking up this emotion? Is what's going on in the atmosphere? And so today I want to talk about regulating your emotions, which pretty much means responding versus reacting. Now, I have to stress, I can't stress this enough, because we need to teach our kids this. We really need to come to a place that we are teaching our kids emotional intelligence. But we first have to get it right. And once we get it right, we can then show our kids. That's what I'm doing. I'm learning so much, and I'm always going to continue to learn. And as I learn, I release that on my daughter. I pour it out on her, because she needs to learn how to regulate her emotions. She needs to know that when she's not in a good mood, that it's okay to not be in a good mood. You're not wrong for that. But you're wrong when you start projecting that towards other people, because people don't deserve that. And so that is the importance of self-regulation. It's the ability to understand and manage your behavior and your reactions to when things happen around you. Because emotions are emotions. They're going to be there. Frustration, excitement, anger, embarrassment, all these things. But if we can't understand them and we can't manage them, then we're just a loose cannon. But there's always hope. There's always a solution. And so I want to show you today how to begin to regulate your emotions, what you can do. So first and foremost, you want to know what your end goal is. If your end goal is connection rather than disconnection, communication rather than, lack of communication, if your goal is to come into a solution rather focusing on the problem, that will help you to begin to regulate your emotions. Because when we have the end goal that, okay, I just want connection, I just want to create a solution to this problem, to whatever it might be, then you will begin to calm down. You will begin to relax your mind. You will begin to say, okay, I need to take a time out. I need to breathe. And this is where you discover your conflict style. Are you the type of person that you need time? Do you need time after a discussion? Do you want to address it right away? And this goes back to because it's really important that you know your conflict style, how you handle pressure, how you handle confrontation. Because when you become self-aware of this, then you will be able to discuss and communicate this with those around you. But if you don't know this, then they won't know this and there won't be any solution. So knowing the end goal will be the first step to help you regulate your emotions. Because when we have a goal, we know the steps that we need to take to align to make this goal achievable. And from there, you will make a choice on how to respond. So you first line out the goal, and then from there, you make a choice on how to respond. Now, we're so quick to speak. We're so quick to give our part. We're so quick to defend ourselves. Sometimes we're so quick to walk away, depending on your conflict style. But we really have to stop being so quick to speak and do and move and leave, but be quick to pause. Just take a breather and relax and figure out why you're feeling what you're feeling and begin to breathe. Practice breath work, practice praying, practice just getting your thoughts together. And the more you do this, the more easy it will become, right? Like for me, for an example, I'm learning, but I still have my moments of emotions where, I'm overthinking, I'm sad when a situation happens, but I allow myself time. I'm learning because I'm the type of person that wants to address a situation right away. But I know that's not the best situation because emotions are on a different level and some people need that time. And I don't want to say anything that's going to be hurtful to those around me. So I have to get myself together. Just give me some time. I'm learning this. I was never like this. I'm the type of person that want to talk about it right then and there. Let's talk about it. Let's lay it on the table. Let's handle it. But that's not always the best way. Another step to self-regulating is talking to yourself. I talk to myself. Calm down, Giovanna. Giovanna, do we really need to do this right now? Giovanna, is it that serious? I have to, because I know myself well, right? And I know I have the Spirit of God within me. And I know the Spirit of God is telling me that I need to calm down and do things according to, the fruits of the Spirit. And so that's what another step that you can do is talk to yourself in the third person. Talk to yourself. It's okay. You're not crazy. Another step that you can do is redirecting your negative emotions to a more positive emotion. So let's say, for instance, you lose a job and this job was, very important to you. But deep down inside, you knew that you want to change anyways. And so though the losing of the job was a shocker, you didn't expect it, but it gives you an opportunity to look at all things good, right? And look at an opportunity to actually go for the job that you truly desired. So that's an example, looking at the brighter side of things, not always looking at the cup half empty, but looking at it half full. So these were just a couple of ways that you can begin to self-regulate your emotions and begin to improve your emotional intelligence. Because at the end of the day, again, wherever you are, whether you are leadership in a church, in your home, in your office, in your family, wherever you are, you need to have emotional intelligence and you need to begin to regulate your emotions and begin to process everything in a healthy way. If not, those around you, those connected to you, those under you will begin to suffer the consequences of your lack of having the ability to regulate your emotions. Because what you're doing is you're pouring out all of your toxicity, all of your behaviors, all of your attitudes onto those around you. And no one around you needs to put up with that. So self-check yourself. The saying, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Literally, check yourself before you wreck others around you. Because it's important for you to maintain your relationships and connections. Unless you want to be the person who just doesn't care, then, you can disregard this podcast. But if you want all things good in your life, then what are you going to do? You're going to listen to me. I don't have all the answers. I'm learning as I go. And as I learn, I begin to implement those things in my life. And I want to teach those things to you, especially as a coach. I am about to begin a coaching program. I am having everything in the works. I'm working on it. It takes time, but I'm excited to get it out there. And when I do, you will be sure to hear of it. And there will be more detailed information. There will be more processes, more, one-on-one with going through overcoming battles, overcoming, self-doubt, overcoming shame, overcoming rejection, overcoming abandonment. All these things that I've overcame myself, I want to help you overcome. And part of that process is gaining emotional intelligence. So if you find that my podcasts are not as informative as you would like, it's because I need you to click the button and book a session so you can get more information, because this information, let me tell you, is valuable. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Until next time, I'll see you on the next side. Well, that about wraps up this episode. I want to thank you so much for listening to the All Things Good podcast. I hope that you share and send with those around you. And remember to keep your mind focused on all things good. Until next time, I'm your host, Giovanna Sugrio.